What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So today on Undisputed, Shannon Sharpe referred to Steph Curry as the second greatest point guard of all time, behind Magic Johnson. And that's his opinion. And I don't think it's a ridiculous opinion either. Not at this point. 3 years ago, I would have said, come on. 5 years ago, get the fuck out of here. But now it's an opinion that has some weight behind it, okay? Now, I don't think he's the second greatest right now, but let me give you a scenario. Steph Curry this year finally reached 20,000 career points, okay? Now, point guards are not necessarily noted as all-time great scorers, not traditionally. Now, this combo point guard, shooting guard, whatever, thing really didn't develop until the last 10, 15 years. Before that, point guards generally ran the offense, set guys up to score. When need be, if they had the ability to score, then they would score, like Isaiah Thomas. But most of the time on championship teams, they were maybe third options, um, fourth options. Uh, Most of the time, they had the ball because they were generally good free throw shooters, and uh, could run the offense and things of that nature, right? But Curry already has 20,000 career points. He's an all-time leader in three-pointers made in the regular season. He's the one and only uh, playoff performer to have made 500 three-pointers in his career in the playoffs. He is a three-time NBA champion. He's appeared in 5 NBA finals, and he's a two-time scoring champion, a two-time MVP, and he led the league in steals one year. That's a hell of a resume. Multiple time All Star. Now, Curry is not a lockdown defender, but he did work himself into being at least a capable defender. Now, Curry, I believe, is on the downside of his career. He's starting to get on the downside of his career. That's understandable. He's 34 years old. He's not a big guy. Playing the NBA, the pace he plays, his body's starting to probably wear down just a little bit. Um, that's normal. But I'll say this. If the Warriors were to win the championship this year and Curry finally wins that elusive Finals MVP, so you add a Finals MVP and you have 4 championships and 6 final appearances, I would have to finally put him ahead of Zeke. I would. I would have to finally put him ahead of Zeke. There's just too much hardware there. Um, I mean, just because of how dominant a player Oscar Robertson was, it just pains me to put Steph ahead of him as a player, like as a, how can I explain this? Like Oscar was such a dominant basketball player for his era, he was like the LeBron James of his era, uh, but not a stat pattern. I know some people call him a stat pattern, but he wasn't a stat pattern. He had to do all those things in order for his team to win. He didn't have the talent around him consistently that LeBron did. And when he finally did, he won a championship in Milwaukee. He went to 2 finals, 71 and 74, on the downside of his career. So my thing is, um, man, I guess you have to put him ahead, man. You have to put him ahead of Oscar. If he wants, yeah, if I think he would squeak ahead of Oscar, and I think he would be the second greatest point guard of all time. I'm sorry, I would have to push him way up, and right now I have him like 25. I have Oscar like 12th, but I would have to zoom Curry up, man. I would have to push him up for getting that fourth ring. And then if he wants Finals MVP, I have to push him up further. I have to put him like one spot ahead. Either I have to put him one spot ahead of Oscar or a spot behind or a couple of spots behind. One of the two. He's going to crack into that top 20, probably into the top 15, and be right knocking on Oscar's door. Somewhere in that ring, somewhere around there, I would have to do it. And then eventually, you know, next couple seasons, I have to put him ahead of Oscar. It's somewhere in that range. But he's definitely, I think, top two or three point guards now. If this happens, right now I have him fourth. I have it Magic. I consider Oscar a point guard. I have Oscar number two. I have Zeke number three, and I have Curry number four right now. But yeah, that's my thoughts about it anyway. Tell me what you guys think.